With the General Assembly finally beginning to wind down their long session, we're reviewing some of the highlights as they pertain to the Chamber's legislative agenda. You're watching the weekly Advocacy at Work update for the Chamber of Catawba County. I'm Brian Francis, Advocacy Director, and it is October 2nd. Yes, it's already October 2nd, 2023. Let's start with the infrastructure. Now, as part of our infrastructure focus, we advocated for a modernization of the transportation funding system in recognition of a declining gas tax. The legislature did increase the fee placed on electric vehicles and place a new fee on hybrid vehicles, both with the intent of supporting road construction and maintenance. Another legislative priority of the Chamber is to revise the school report card system. The state measures school performance with 80% based on achievement on end-of-year tests and only 20% based on the students' improvement over the course of the year. And while educators and others have been working on this issue for years, it appeared to finally get traction for the first time this session. State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Catherine Truitt, has formed an advisory group of educators and policymakers to reevaluate the school report card system. Their goal is to identify additional factors that should be considered in determining school letter grades and potentially bringing forward legislation as soon as the coming short session. No, we believe that movement on this issue is due in large part to the advocacy of chambers from across the state, including a recently written op-ed in the Hickory Daily Record by our own Lindsay Kiesler. Now, while we saw progress on school report cards, we heard the same old song on school calendar flexibility. And you should recall that many school systems would like to start their year earlier, really for two reasons. One, so that their calendars match the community college calendar for their students who are dually enrolled. And second, so that they can hold final exams before winter break related learning loss occurs. Once again, we saw a bevy of legislation granting that flexibility pass through the House, only to be stymied in the Senate. Senators remain concerned about the impact on North Carolina's tourism industry if school starts in early August. We highlighted the budget last week where we saw various chamber priorities addressed. But one that we didn't mention was the funding for the Wilderness Gateway State Trail, which is the trail that will run through Catawba County. One of the chamber's legislative items is to have a state park added in Catawba County. The $200,000 allocated to Foothills Conservancy for the Wilderness Gateway State Trail is another small step moving forward towards an eventual state park. We've also talked extensively throughout this session about this last item, but it is worth celebrating that the Chamber's priority of lowering the cost of health insurance for small business by expanding Medicaid has officially been put into place. Now, you'll remember the governor signed this legislation way back on March 27th, but it was dependent on a budget becoming law. And now that we have a budget, the official implementation of Medicaid expansion is set for December 1st. Legislative work at the General Assembly is definitely winding down. It looks like they're done with most of their policy-focused work, and they are now shifting to redistricting. Now, we'll let you know if they do take up any more policy work, and we'll also keep monitoring the redistricting, and particularly if it has an impact on Catawba County. Until we do, I'm Brian Francis, and this is Advocacy at Work from the Chamber of Catawba County.